Joining me now, General Keith Kellogg, co-chairman of the Center for American Security and former National Security Advisor to Vice President Pence. General Kellogg, great to have you with us today. Are you surprised that Iran and North Korea and cyber were not a bigger focus of the questioning today?
Yeah, well, first, Martha, thanks for having me today.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised about what they were saying there, because I think cyber is going to be critical going into the future, and I think the threat that you face from China is going to continue to increase with their very aggressive activities that are out there. The real existential threat we face is Russia because of the amount of nuclear weapons they have, but I don't consider them to be a major threat in the sense we have NATO, a pretty strong alliance over there. China is the country that continues to grow. I think we had a pretty good relationship going with Kim Jong-un. In a sense, was a personal relationship with he and President Trump. But I think cyber, what you see with those recent cyber attacks, especially the ransomware attacks that is happen to be focused on critical infrastructure, is the way of the future, and we need to pay pretty close attention to those.
Yeah, Christopher Wray talked about that, the FBI director. He said he feels that the country really hasn't had a wide enough understanding of that threat. Here he is talking about that.
Yeah.
We think the cyber threat is increasing almost exponentially. I mean, ransomware alone, the total volume of amounts paid in ransomware, I think, has tripled over the last year. So the scale of this is something that I don't think this country's really ever seen anything quite like it, and it's going to get much worse.
Do you think countries are testing our responses in these cases? And the Energy Secretary the other day said, she could envision a larger scale infrastructure shutdown driven by cyber warfare.
Yeah, this is a really critical area we need to go into out there. We just saw that recently happen with the ransomware attack, not only on JBS, but also on the Colonial Pipeline, which is actually an attack on critical infrastructure. And the FBI director was correct. This year, it looks like the economic impact globally will be about $6.1 billion. I'm sorry, $6.1 trillion out there. And we need to look at the impact that we're going to have on critical infrastructure. Here's where we need to go, I believe. Those attacks are really coming out of four countries. They're coming out of Russia, they're coming out of Iran, they're coming out of North Korea, and they're coming out of China. And we need to take a path that looks at two things. One, we need to have a good public and private relationship to harden and fortify our infrastructure. Yeah. And the second, we need to have a declaratory policy that needs to come from the president that tells those countries, let's say Russia, that if you attack our critical infrastructure, we are going to respond in kind. And there's an opportunity this week coming up with President Biden talking to Putin. We're in Geneva. He needs to tell Putin, if something comes out of your area, out of Russia, that attacks our critical infrastructure, we will respond in kind. I don't think he's going to be able to do that because I don't think he's established his credibility with Putin, unlike Trump, who established, I believe, a very strong credibility with Russia.
If you could give me a quick answer, General, I'd appreciate it. But President Biden said that the Joint Chiefs told him, back when he was vice president, the biggest threat was global warming to the country.
I respectfully disagree with anybody who says that. It is not global warming. I mean, when you look at countries with nuclear weapons and have a capacity to strike at us in a terrorist capability, it to me is not global warming.
General Kellogg, thank you so much. Hope you'll come back. Good to have you here. Appreciate it, sir.
Thanks, Martha. Appreciate it.